Welcome to the mind of a man.
I'm down. I made the journey.
It was a wonderful, good one.
It's been planned for a while, and yeah, it's finally happening, and it doesn't feel real, but it's. I'm quite lucky in the fact that I've got some family down here as well. So as well as seeing friends, I can see some family, and been down to Cardiff to see my sister and her partner.
To America, it's like very thin walls, like plyboard kind of walls, right? That's how houses are made and stuff. Here, it's cinder block. I left my tea bag in my tea.
I always do that. Keeps it tasting fresh.
Yeah, it keeps it like tea at least. So let's get into the news.
A bit of a structure of news, films, games.
Yeah.
Bit of interesting stuff.
Yeah. No music this week. No music.
You will see my hands.
Done for it. Clearly, right. The thing is, you know that you look in films and
Like you watch films or something, and you see what's the first thing. Hello and welcome to the Mind of a Madness podcast. A little bit different. I'm actually in person with Sean.
How amazing is this?
I know, it's incredible. He is down in Wales.
I'm down. I made the journey.
It was a wonderful, good one.
It's been planned for a while, and yeah, it's finally happening, and it doesn't feel real, but it's here.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
I mean, this is if you couldn't work out why there wasn't one earlier.
This is why. This is like been planned like this.
Yeah, I think it's a week later than what we normally film.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Should hopefully be a different style because we haven't got to put up with the Skype lag and whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, we'd love to do this more often. It's just not possible. It's not realistic for Sean to drive for 4 hours. And
no.
I have no way. I mean, I could get the train up there with all my equipment every time.
You're literally paying so much to do that. I mean, maybe one day we'll be making some revenue from this, but we don't know.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Who knows? It depends how long we go for.
Yeah.
But yeah, how's your week been?
Yeah, my week's been really good. I'm quite lucky in the fact that I've got some family down here as well. So as well as seeing friends, I can see some family, and been down to Cardiff to see my sister and her partner, and it's all really chill, and it's obviously the weather's been absolutely gorgeous. So it's beach days and yeah, paddling in the sea, and it just felt like being abroad, and yeah, it's like not things I'm used to in England, in Manchester, where I am from. So yeah, it's been good, and lots of activities. We've done a little holiday within a holiday, so woo! I'm wired.
I'm wired. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Wired and ready to podcast. Back to a bit of normality-ish.
Considering that neither of us had a lot for this week. We're both a little short, but
let me get my scraps.
I think, to be fair, that's understandable. This week has been tremendous with the weather.
Yeah, I think even the news has just gone, we can't be supposed to do anything this week because it's so warm.
It's ridiculous. How have you been coping with it? How was it in England, actually? Because obviously the start just before you came down.
Yeah,
right?
it's like the weekend before I came down. I thought, God, this is a bit hot. We don't have like fans and stuff in our house because we think, oh, what's the point? Yeah, it's only a week every year. But then every time it happens, like, why didn't we get a fan? And then when you want one, there's none available because everyone's got them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. Like, keep all the windows and doors open. I just trying to acclimatise to it. But I mean, that was nothing compared to when I got up here. When I think Cardiff was like the hottest place in the whole country or something.
Yeah, but I think it's
on
like
Sunday or Monday.
31 or 32.
Yeah, it's a Caribbean style of heat. And for people abroad thinking, oh, what's the problem?
Yeah.
It's a different style of heat, isn't it?
It's a dry heat. No, it's a wet heat.
It's a humid, moist heat, as we were saying before.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it just, for some reason, it seems to just heat up at night as well. Like,
oh, no.
And like, it's the first time I've been like fully sweating constantly in bed, But yeah, I got used to it for one night. I don't think I slept for one night, and then just like collapsed through exhaustion.
Yeah.
The next one. So.
Yeah, I think as well people forget that if you go into America, it's like very thin walls, like plyboard kind of walls, right? That's how houses are made and stuff. Here, it's cinder block
and insulated.
Loads of insulation, another cinder block.
Yeah.
The heat doesn't get out.
Yeah, it's designed to keep the heat in because that's what we want most of the time.
Yeah, and now the world's heating up because we all selfish bastards that use technology.
Yeah.
We are heating the globe, boiling alive.
You need to listen to Greta a bit more.
I left my tea bag in my tea.
I always do that. Keeps it tasting fresh.
Yeah, it keeps it like tea at least. So there's that. Cheers.
It's a good cuppa, thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. I was a bit worried. I was like, have I done this right?
But yeah, how has your week been and recent times been?
Hell. The heat alone has stopped me from doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been nuts because I'll put pictures on the screen. I think I've still got the pictures of literally my fan. You guys can't see it, but it's like slightly it's literally in the middle.
Yeah.
It has what the temperature of the room is, and it wouldn't go down under 33 for the entire bloody week.
Ooh.
Even in the night, I had the window open, my door was open. Like I could not get more airflow in here if I tried. And then I ordered an AC unit because I was like, oh, that'll be great. And now it's not coming to the end of the fucking month.
Yeah.
So it's missed, but it's there now in the future, I guess.
Yeah, you need to like think ahead at Christmas time, like, oh, I want an AC unit, then I'll get one at Christmas. Then
I'll get one at Christmas by the time it gets here.
yeah,
Because
summer. I'll be able to use
in
it.
the UK we don't need it. But yeah, it was alright. It was a pretty good week, other than the heat. But yeah, I've still been playing a bit of Fortnite. It's been weird not playing it with you, mind.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I started out playing it quite a lot solo, and I've gotten used to like just playing it on my own and winning a few times as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely made to be played with friends, and which is I'm trying to convince more people to download it, but people are like, oh, Fortnite, oh, that's a kids game. But yeah.
It's not, man. It's
not.
fun.
It's fun.
It's
it
very
can
fun.
Be fun.
It's very enjoyable.
And yeah, I think there's so many. I did like a Ferrari into it now and something.
Oh wow.
There's so many pop culture references and yeah, anything you want to be, you can be.
Anything you want to be, you can be. That's how it works. But yes, it was a fun week, except for the melting.
Yeah, yeah, that's. We all like to moan about it, but yeah, it's justified.
I mean, the problem is with the British people. Doesn't matter if it's too warm or too cold. We will find a way.
Yeah, we'll find a way to moan. It's somewhere in between. Oh, I wish it was hotter.
We're always grumpy. Yeah, no, but it's been a pretty fun week. I think it's just weird. I'm still trying to process the fact we're doing this in person.
I know.
Like, it's very strange, right? It's very good. I've been very excited.
Yeah, it's been a staple of what this week will be.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, shall we talk about the news?
Yes, let's get into the news.
A bit of a structure of news, films, games.
Yeah.
Bit of interesting stuff.
Yeah. No music this week. No music.
You will see my hands.
Yeah. We're actually going to see more than just your head.
Yeah, my big moon head.
He isn't just a hologram of just a head. He is a person. But yeah. What would you like to start with?
There was quite a significant unlocking in England that happened on July the 19th, which was described by the media as Freedom Day, which I think everyone was a bit apprehensive towards it.
I wonder why.
Obviously that means...
He's never gone back on his word.
I know. That means that you basically don't have to wear masks. It's completely optional now, but they recommend you do, but it's still optional, which is all people need to go, well...
Yeah.
Goodbye, delete the app and everything now.
Yeah.
I think they've made the app a bit less sensitive so that it doesn't actually ping you so often.
Ironically,
even though like recently there's been so many pings that
isn't that like the point of it though?
I know it's supposed to be sensitive,
but
precautionary, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just we want to make the people happy.
Yeah. And yeah, so nightclubs can open finally for the first time in like 18 months.
Yeah.
Which must be a relief to them. I think they're all like bricking it, thinking, "Oh, is he going to do another U-turn?" But
No.
Luckily they're open now, and at midnight on the dot, people were going into them. So that'd be interesting. They've done an interesting little. I wouldn't say U-turn, but it's like from September onwards, anyone going into a nightclub they have to be double vaccinated.
Yeah. Isn't it like they've done passport kind of system with it or something?
Yeah, you can download the app and then it comes up with your vaccine history. But like, why in September? Just let it run right for a few months.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're in a position where they want it to kind of run right for a little bit so that we build up even more immunity while everyone's kind of vaccinated and a bit safer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I mean, that could be a theory that they're probably not telling us, but you know.
The thing is, what I don't understand is transparency. Like, it makes more sense for the government to be like, right, here's what we're planning. Why not just be honest about it?
Yeah.
Why are they trying? Like, unless they genuinely are being honest about it and they're just really dumb.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. It just seems so weird to me that they go, oh well, we've got this planned, but not until September.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because not enough young people have been double jabbed, but like still doesn't make sense. Because you can tell that the backlash, they'll be like, oh, we were looking forward to go to clubs and now we can't. Only the old people can.
Yeah. Do you know what it could be? They haven't even made the system. It might not even exist.
Probably.
And it's just them being like, well, this is what we've got planned. It's like, don't fucking tell anyone about it. Just do it. Yeah.
And how people are going to like regulate that, and it's just
it's going to be a disaster.
As everything is these days.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about like, I assume it's bouncers and stuff that are going to be doing most of the scanning, and if that's the case, then I know a few bouncers. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, when you're all drunk.
Yeah, they can't be arsed.
Because you don't go to a club when you're so completely sober, do you?
Yeah. Well, from what I remember now. It's been a while.
You've been drinking for a bit before then to get into the dance.
Yeah, of course.
So, if they really want to be dealing with that, jumping through hoops, these businesses just want the money right now.
Yeah.
They need the money.
I think there's definitely going to be a few clubs that try and sort of skirt around the edge. Probably not breaking the rules, but...
Could be like you could book online or something before you turn up. But then it'd be like, take a deposit or not take a deposit.
I thought maybe it'll be something along the lines of, well, if they've been in one place to drink already, clearly they've been scanned and they're fine. Yeah. So they won't bother. And that's where I'm like... that's what I imagine it's going to be. Because it's like, well, why bother scanning each individual person? Just scan one other group.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to find a way to... I guess that is technically breaking what are meant to be the rules, but...
Yeah. But yeah, I personally won't be going to a nightclub anytime soon. Not just because I don't have any friends, but because...
you have plenty of friends.
Yeah. But because, I'm not really comfortable in a sweaty, tiny, claustrophobic state.
Just lots of people grinding.
That would make me feel uncomfortable after all this time. Like, I'm quite happy keeping a distance. I have been from the start.
I'm not a fan of people. I would rather keep my distance.
I only have a few people I like.
Yeah, there's only a few people I'm willing to hug.
Yeah. Probably count on both hands, people willing to hug.
Yeah. But yeah. No, I mean, it's an exciting time, I think, for a lot of people as well. Not we won't just poo-poo all over it.
Yeah.
But I do think there are a lot of holes that are still going to have to be kind of just get used to.
It's kind of like a nervous apprehension around it. Obviously, it's very good for the economy and whatnot, mental health, which is super important. But as Boris said, if we don't do it now, when will we do it? And the guy's got a point.
Oh, is that why he held it back a month?
Yeah.
Contradicting fucking
I know.
piffle. Boris to Piffle Johnson. But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely excited for the water to open back up. I think part of it is just a case of that it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like there's no more. Oh well, we're terrified of it. Give it a year, you will find the public will find something else to talk about.
Yeah.
COVID will just become a background noise, just like the flu. And I think at this point, it's if another lockdown happens, I and I've said it every time, but I mean, I can't see another one happening.
No.
I just, like, every other time it's kind of like, oh, well, you can see him going back on his word. But if he goes back on his word this time, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He won't be Prime Minister anymore.
No more lockdown. It's just lick down from now on.
Yeah. just that.
Lick down.
Lick down.
This summer, prepare for the lick down. I think we said this last week.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on and watch.
Yeah,
it's obviously
see
in
how
Wales.
The figures go. Like, obviously, England has done it first, and then Wales will probably do it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we're 9th of August. That's when we're opening up.
Yeah.
As such. So I think we've just gone, yeah, they can be the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
You guys can try it first, and then we'll see how it goes.
That has been all along.
But yeah, no, I kind of, part of me is glad that we're waiting until the 9th, but at the same time, part of me's like, but isn't that sort of just showing that you clearly the government's not ready? That they're just trying to find a way to like get rid of it, and it's like that's not going to happen.
But yeah, I think there's some kind of promising little hints of figures maybe staying the same and stuff. So hopefully it's all gonna be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely apprehensive.
Apprehensive, but bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, I suppose.
It's something to look forward to. That's my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've been able to do this thanks to that, unlocking.
Yeah.
So.
It's actually very cool. I'm just glad to see you.
Yeah, I know.
How long? Like over 2 years since we've seen each other in person.
Yeah, legitimately, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because it was, 2019? Last time I saw you. Which is when I came up to you, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And now look at us.
Now look at us.
2 years
doing
older.
a podcast together. In 27 degrees.
I'm sorry, my room doesn't get cooler. But yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Another thing we could talk about, the space race.
Oh,
that was an interesting thing that happened. Richard Branson against Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. It was a
I don't know why it's a thing, but
space race. It just reminds me of like President Reagan and Star Wars and stuff like that. All this, John F. Kennedy's fascination with space.
Yeah.
Who's going to get to space first, the US or Russia?
Yeah.
But now it's CEOs of companies doing it.
Oh.
The all-powerful, the almighty CEOs.
It's the billionaire's biggest dick off.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, when I heard about it, Richard Branson going to space on the Virgin Galactic, just as if it's like just any other passenger plane. I thought, oh my god, that is really cool. Actually, I'd love to go on a Virgin Galactic.
Wasn't there? There was a ticket for it, wasn't there? It was a £28 million ticket, and that person had to dip out because they couldn't do it that weekend, and it got given to someone else for free.
Yeah.
Can you imagine imagine having that kind of money though? 28 million. Oh well, I can't make it that weekend.
I know.
Who the fuck has that kind of money to be like, oh, I can't do... I'm sorry, I'll come to space another time. I'll get a ticket the next one. So what? How? That is like a ridiculous amount of money.
I know, yeah. Yeah, imagine it. Hopefully down the line it'll be affordable, but
Yeah. To the peasantry scum as ourselves.
The more they do it, they might actually start making a turnaround on it and like, oh yeah.
First disabled.
Let's offer economy class tickets.
The first disabled people in space.
You get to ride in the storage hull.
You're in the storage hull. Sign this waiver.
Yeah, you feel a bit of 0G and then you go home.
Oh.
But it turns out you just be putting like a tunnel thing.
Yeah. Artificial.
But yeah, maybe one day, it'll just be a quick trip to space, Where have you been last? Where have
Let's
you
go
been
to
on
space
Sunday?
for the weekend.
Just went to space, had a look at the Earth.
I don't even think that'll ever be a thing before we wreck this planet.
Yeah.
I feel like this planet's
It's good that we're doing it now so we can find a different planet to wreck.
Yeah. I think the closest Earth to us is a few light years. So
yeah. We need to invent warp speed there.
Eventually. As if, people stop arguing and just get the fuck on with it.
Yeah. All the CEOs need to,
Yeah.
pull the foot out.
What's kind of your thoughts on the billionaire race-off?
It's a bit of like a dick measuring contest in there, but with money.
My cock's bigger than yours.
Yeah, my wallet's bigger than yours. And they're all kind of probably terrible people. But to get to where they need to be, you don't play fair.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it?
But, fair enough. Someone's got to do it, I suppose. Reinvent the wheel and, push boundaries. And so leave it to the guys with, absolutely heaps of money.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I still think Bezos chose the right model to go up in, because he is a massive cock.
Yeah, that wasn't like a petition to have him, not return.
Yeah, leave him up there. We don't need the
signatures.
prick. You don't need him. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Yes, he has so much money.
Yeah.
And he won't even give his fucking employees like a raise or breaks or... They still pee in bottles.
Yeah.
Amazon drivers still pee in bottles.
Yeah.
How is that a thing with a man that is worth billions upon billions?
Yeah, I remember seeing a video recently of like some Amazon driver like was taking a shit in someone's garden or something, which is like fair enough. That is like kind of disgusting, but like you have to think about the conditions they're like working in, and maybe he was like, absolutely desperate. He had no choice. Like he didn't get a break. He's not been, you know, supported in that way. So you think like, you know,
The man took a shit. Someone ordered a parcel and got more than they bargained for. I'll fertilise your garden as well while the man's here.
It like picked him up on CCTV having a shit.
Oh, God.
But
I mean,
give your staff breaks, goddammit.
if your staff are at a point where they're shitting in people's gardens,
Like drop it off more than
something's not fucking right there.
dropped off more than just a package to that house.
How big of a package was the second one, though? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Someone analysing the CCTV. Well, we can see from the diameter.
It's a ring stinger.
It was an ingot shit. No, I can't even imagine working for Amazon. I think that's like, if you look at any kind of system that they have, or like any job description, like earn lots of money, they don't mention about the fact you know, shit in a bucket or piss in a bottle.
Yeah, it's the same with like Uber and stuff. Like work your own hours, do whatever you want, get paid.
Yeah, you get paid on commission for how many parcels you deliver, I think.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned about Uber. It's like it's finally like accepting that they can have a pension now, and it's actually a proper job, and people, because you can just like sign up on the app and like, I'm an Uber driver.
Yeah.
But now it's a bit more rigorous, which is
yeah.
good.
They didn't a law get passed in America or something, wasn't it? And
yeah.
They got forced to consider them as employees, not just contractors.
Yeah.
But that's made, I think, a lot of contractors that were, or now employees, have now lost their job. Because
Yeah.
Uber were like, well,
It's
we
like,
can't pay you.
I'm an employee. I'm an employee now. You're fired.
Goodbye.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy.
No.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's why if you ever see like Amazon drivers, they'll like ring your doorbell, knock the door, drop the parcel, and fuck off.
Yeah.
They, they don't even hang around anymore. It's like, mate, someone could take
I do
this.
feel really sorry for them at Christmas time because like you can just tell they
I
look
can't
wrecked.
yeah, I can't even imagine.
And especially with the pandemic and that everyone's ordering things online, it's like absolute double.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't understand. Like, the warehouses don't have aircon, and it's like, even in America, that's weird.
And you get Karen phoning up, where's my parcel?
Yeah. It's like, it's in the depot. Why? Because you weren't in, you bitch.
Because they've had to order like a fleet of more vehicles. I think I was talking to my postman, they had to get like rental vehicles to store everything in to get all the parcels around. It's like, he's like, this is the busiest it's ever been. Yeah.
I can't even imagine having to do that job. Like, the stress alone.
Yeah, and with more people being off with being pinged or isolating and stuff, then it's even more pressure. Like, it's just an absolute comedy of errors.
No, no.
Yeah, nope.
No, I don't want that job. But yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, is there any more news things that we've missed?
There's one. Dawn Butler. I showed you briefly before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
This lady. I can't show the video because you'll get claimed, but you can find it on YouTube. She basically called out Boris. The first time anyone has called him out and actually called him a liar in the House of Commons, and was like, he lied to the public. And she didn't say anything inaccurate. I think you'd agree.
Yeah.
And the dumb bitch that is the... Sorry, I can't call her that. That's offensive. The stupid idiot that is the Deputy House Speaker, the lady that does it, decided that she had to retract that statement because, you know, it wasn't formal. And it's like, how ridiculous. And fucking fair play to Dawn Butler. She didn't pull it back. She went, why? I'm telling the truth. I'm only speaking the truth. Why would I retract the statement? And she actually got asked to leave. She was kicked out of the house, which is abhorrent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be some fucking... Right, regardless, I'm taking race out of this equation. She was a black woman that got thrown out of there, but that is not the point.
Yeah.
The point is this could have been anyone and they would have been thrown out.
Yeah.
But the fact that someone called out the Prime Minister for being a lying snob and not telling the truth, and yet they're the ones that get punished for it.
What kind of democracy is it where you have to accept one side and you can't be seen to challenge it?
Or if you do, you
disbelieve it.
Yeah, and if you do challenge it, you have to say, the right honourable gentleman. No one believes them. Oh, well, it's a way to keep the peace. But it doesn't keep the peace. Nothing gets resolved. I think the government system needs to be fucking overhauled, clearly. Because if someone gets called out for... Because he has. Johnson has lied numerous fucking times.
Fact-checking video where some guy... can't remember his name, but he was like saying... He was like playing clips of Boris Johnson and then putting the actual figures on the screen. He's bending the truth. He's saying he's got like 60% increase in employment since 2002, but it's actually a tiny fraction of an increase since like 2018. And he's like bending the truth and like claiming he's better than he is, which is political, probably technique to bend the truth, make it sound like it's better than it is.
It's ridiculous.
But I mean, is bending the truth lying? Yes, still.
It's still lying. I mean, even if he gave out figures that are true, he's still avoiding the negative.
I was claiming credit for things that he didn't do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's... I can't... Like, this is the first time, I think, that I've kind of seen the government system just be... It clearly is broken. It doesn't work. You can't force someone to tell the truth. They can lie and get away with it. Johnson's been doing it for the last year.
And Trump did it.
And Trump did it. He caused a coup, and he didn't even get done for it. Clearly, right, the thing is, that you look in films, and like you watch films or something, and you see, what's the first thing that happens before the world goes into chaos? Fucking governments are lying, they're not telling people the truth. It is now
Saving
happening.
themselves.
It's ridiculous. It's now happening.
Yeah.
People, like, this is something that I think the everyday person sees because we're not snobby arseholes.
Yeah.
And we look at it and we're like, this is ridiculous. Well, just tell the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Or get the fuck out. If you can't do the job, leave. Let someone else do it. But it just adds on to the fact that I think Sajid Khan obviously got COVID, so he had to isolate. And then I think Boris and Rishi Sunak weren't going to isolate straight away because they were trying a new pirate program. Yeah, a scheme. Quite literally scamming cunts. That's what that means. And then they got a bunch of backlash and they both isolated. And it was like, you are not above the everyday person. If you walked out into a street, you'd still get punched. You're nothing special. Boris, this is not the first time you've been called out on something like this. You cycled further than the arranged amount that you could go away from home and got away with it.
Yeah.
You claimed that you had the same treatment as everyone else when you caught COVID. No, you didn't. You had a nurse by you 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, stop comparing yourself to the everyday person. At least be honest and say, yes, I'm a rich snob and I get more than you. At least be honest about it. It's why I think governments don't work anymore, because the people that like Dawn Butler, who called out Boris, are the people that get suppressed and pushed out.
Yeah. Well, it's the Eton Boys Club that, are on the media all the time, defending each other.
Yeah, didn't you know that? If you apply for the government, like on the actual document, the first question you get asked is, have you put your balls in a pig's mouth? That's the first question you get asked.
Test.
And if it's no, then you don't get it.
Yeah.
that's how it works.
I just wish more, there obviously is plenty of down-to-earth normal people as politicians, but they just don't get seen.
Yeah.
Because they're just representing places in the country that aren't, London or, conservative. But, that's how it is.
I know, it's shocking. It's shocking to me that this is how the world now works. Like, I can't wrap my head around. It's so inhuman.
Yeah.
That's the weird part about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense anymore. And yet people are like, yeah, it's normal.
We'll just,
But that's not
let them
normal.
get away with it because, they know better than us, surely. When, then you get the Hancock situation and everyone's breaking the rules.
And the Cummings situation and all the stuff that Boris said in the WhatsApp group, and it's like,
and Boris's
come
dad
on,
and...
how much fucking has to happen before just like in this country? I'm surprised the people haven't tried to overthrow the government. I'm so shocked, but that's just British people. We get angry, we vent, but we won't do anything.
No. Like, Matt Hancock he's not resigned. He's just moved to a different position.
I wouldn't be. Well,
less public role.
It's not the first time he's been caught for something and then thrown out, and then come back later in an even stronger position. Like, that's how you move up the ranks. Yeah, it's
I'm just glad I don't live in England, because if I saw them, I'd slap them.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking. Wait, we mentioned the other week Chris Whitty being assaulted.
Yeah, I mean, right. He's a scientific advisor. He doesn't have a choice in the matter. I mean, do you know what? Ironically, and this might be wrong, but if I saw, say, Matt Hancock, Cummings, or Boris being treated like that on the street, I don't think I'd have the same reaction as I had with Whitty. I wouldn't feel sorry for them at all. I'd be like, yeah, there you go, you deserve that, you prick. And maybe that's wrong of me, and part of me is like, morally, yeah, that is wrong, but I can't help it. These people are so fucking beyond saving.
They don't know what the world is like.
Yeah, they don't understand what it's like for the everyday person. You know, someone like, for instance, you know, you're an editor. They wouldn't even know the fucking first clue of how hard that is to do for a living and make money.
A red brick kind of style job, then it doesn't exist, unfortunately.
Someone like me, who's not visibly disabled but has disabilities, they wouldn't even know the first fucking sign of why it's so difficult.
Yeah, but it's popular to claim that they are, caring for these people, and oh yes, we put another $1 billion $1 billion package,
$1 billion dogger package.
$1 billion dogger.
You can now dog in public. That's what he advocated in the beginning.
Mental health awareness and stuff like that. Right, okay.
He was advocating dogging in the beginning, though.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have sex indoors, but outdoors.
Yeah, that's a loophole that Matt Hancock probably used.
Yeah, probably. Well, he was cheating on his wife. But, yeah. And by the way, just to make this clear, I would say the same thing for any Welsh politician as well. Like Mark Drakeford. Like, I don't like him, but he is better. He has shown better understanding and common sense than Boris and all that. But I would still say that I think I would feel the same way if he got treated like that in public. I don't think I'd feel the same as I did with Chris. Like with Chris Whitty, I felt sorry for him because he's just an advisor.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any power or sway.
Yeah.
You know, he just gives them the advice.
I would have more respect for them all if they just interacted with people, everyday people, more, because they're always just at like very scripted events or being taken on a tour.
I've only ever seen one time that it wasn't scripted and wasn't done like that, and that was Boris when he went to one of the NHS hospitals, and a father confronted him and was like, my daughter's in here, she's not well, they've got no fucking, look at the staff, they're running around like headless chickens, what are you going to do about it? Oh, well, we're gonna add money to the pocket. When?
He was like,
fucking when? And this guy was fuming in his face, like, and Boris had no security. Not surprised. No one wants to.
They're probably all like blocking the entrances.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and that's the only time I've ever seen anyone confront him, and it's like that cannot be the only time.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that's probably part of the reason you don't see him in public that often, because people would rip his head off.
I'd have more respect for them, definitely, if you could just go to the pub and you see your local politician and your MP and you can have a drink with them and they'll talk to you. And
just not like Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
He was an idiot.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that you need a bit of Nigel Farage's personality mixed with the knowledge and know-how of like someone like Boris. Or Boris knows fuck all.
You can't deny the great rousing speakers, and if you just sat there and brain dead and listened to them, you'd probably be like, yeah. Which with a lot of people
USSR. Turns into USSR or Germany back in the 1960s.
But yeah, that's what obviously that's a popular trait of that kind of person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rousing people.
Just have a good personality that's down to earth. Like have your knowledge and kind of, yes, you're obviously going to be slightly more educated than the average everyday person. To run a country, I would want you to be, but don't be so fucking snobby. Talk to people. Like, don't just say, well, I've had meetings with ministerial colleagues. Great. Have you talked to an average Joe recently? Have you talked to someone who's lost their business because of your fucking ignorance?
And also, where is the opposition?
Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Keir Starmer's done all right, and but even he isn't doing a fucking good job anymore.
He's on a 12-week holiday, presumably.
Yeah, he's not fucking doing anything. Like, I guess there's not much he can do, but like, fuck the speaker. Yeah. If I was the opposition leader, I'd be ripping Boris Johnson's head off every fucking time. And if the speaker was like, I'd like you to retract that, make him retract all his lies then.
Yeah.
Stop being so fucking biased. Your job is to be in the middle. Fuck off.
They need to have a fact checker in there, so like if he's not telling the truth, they just like put their hands up and say, sorry, we can't accept that. You need to
What I stand by what I've said before, and I will never let this go. There needs to be a section of that house that is just everyday people.
Yeah.
It needs to be like they do with the juries in America, but every month you have mandatory, like, you have to have a set of the everyday people, people from Wales, Scotland, England, that come together. So there's problems from all over the country, and they all have to be in England for a month or whatever, and that is a set of people that is always in the house for that meeting that month.
Yeah.
And they constantly have to, that way they can't avoid the issues, because there's always going to be someone breathing down the neck being like, you still haven't fixed this.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah, what are we meant to do? I know that there's people obviously who are like, they look after districts of places, but as been proved, they just throw them out when they try and stick up for people.
Yeah.
And you cannot throw out an entire group of people. That is what needs to happen. Because you're not, the average everyday person is not going to be ignored. Like, if they're anything like the Welsh or anyone from Britain, like, they will make their points known.
Everyone just wants to feel a bit less powerless to it all.
Yeah. And heard.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people feel ignored by the government now as well. I think that's a big reason as to why a lot of people are fed up and are like, mate, you're not helping anyone here.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, on a different tangent, President
Yeah.
Trump. President Trump, not ex-President Trump.
Ex criminal.
That wasn't
yes.
a fart, by the way. That was a chair.
Oh yeah, the chair does this all the time.
He's taking like all the leaders of the social media networks like to court, suing them all because of his censorship of his tweets and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
He
that's
won't
his
win.
next stage. That's what he's focusing on now, which is quite funny.
He's not going to win. He's an idiot. He is the definition of an
Yeah.
idiot, like a moron.
Yeah.
He's not a politician.
So taking Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah,
all
there you
of
go.
them.
That's how you knew. He actually said that, didn't he? He was
Yeah.
like, I'm taking Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram and Facebook are run
All
by the same
CEOs.
company, you fucking pillock.
All the CEOs, great people, maybe great people.
Maybe great people, bad
But-
stocks,
bad
bad social.
websites.
Yeah, he's not going to win.
Yeah.
He's like, Rudy Giuliani's already been done for loads of fucking things now. I
Oh,
believe. Anyway, I think a lot of his stuff got
Bad hair
caught up.
dye.
Bad hair dye, being in Borat.
Oh. Yeah, we mentioned that one. I think.
Yeah, that was way back now. But yeah, no, it's just attention seeking. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just a big Trump show. That's
Yeah.
all it is. He isn't gonna. He knows he's not gonna win against them.
He's just got enough money to try.
Yeah, he's just got enough money to scream and shout. Although I doubt he's got enough money.
It's
I
always
reckon-
like that. There's no such publicity as bad publicity. Like,
Yeah.
He's got the money to do it. He doesn't really care if he wins or loses. Just
There's
as
still
long as he stays
fanatics
relevant.
that follow him
Mm,
every day,
yeah.
and it's like you see these people, like, oh yeah, it was stolen. It was proven it wasn't stolen. You fucking American trash. You
Yeah.
know it wasn't stolen.
Yeah.
And there's just a small, insignificant amount of people who scream it,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that are known. You know, I'm not saying the American system is perfect. It probably isn't. But clearly it wasn't stolen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just how people still listen to Trump and believe him.
Yeah.
Like with the global warming meeting, it'll get colder. Yeah, it'll get hotter, you fat git. Do you know what happens if you keep eating the way you're eating? Diabetes. Right. Well, that was interesting. That died. And then we've got some waters, so we have some refreshments
Yes.
now, which is good.
Always keep hydrated, kids.
Always, yes. Hydration, frustration. So, what are we going on to next then, good sir?
Shall we move on to films or TV series we've watched,
Go on then.
which could be a quick one.
Yeah,
But
go for it.
well, I've watched. I think I mentioned the other week I started watching The Fear Street 1994. Since then I've watched all of them, which it's quite an interesting way of doing it, having it as like a trilogy. Like it's all kind of based on the same kind of thing, the theme, but it actually goes backwards in time.
Yeah.
So that you learn more about it as you're going back in time, which is really cool. And yeah, they're all pretty good films, to be fair. I really enjoyed them, and I loved the music and the setting, and like they're all kind of different. Like 1994 is all kind of a bit screamish, which is my fave, and 1978 is like Friday the 13th ish, and then 1666 is a bit like The Witch, medieval times. And, but yeah, I really enjoyed all of them. It's nice to have different themes in like the same overarching storyline. Yeah. I actually loved it. And then right at the end, you kind of go back to the future, and then it kind of finishes off the first one, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. But yeah, I want more stuff like that. Just the aesthetic of it and the way it was directed, and it clearly wasn't the biggest budget ever going, but they did the best with what they got.
They did good enough.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I recommend those to anyone who has like seen them on Netflix and thought, oh, are they all right?
I've been waiting for them. I've got so many damn need to watch them.
Yeah, there's a lot here. But yeah, other than that,
bit light on.
I've been watching a bit of Clone Wars season 3.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed a considerable step up in quality from season 3 onwards. Like not just in terms of animation, but in storylines and how dark it can get sometimes. We've gone from season 1, Misa eyeball stuck in sleeve, to season 3 where they're like snapping each other's necks and all this. Like, okay, not quite for kids anymore, is it?
they've taken the more deadly route.
Yeah, I've just got to a point with like Savage Opress and being Dooku's new little apprentice. But it's pretty cool. I'm quite enjoying it. It's one of those ones where you kind of need to watch, kind of force yourself to watch it, and then you ended up enjoying it by default. So, but yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan anyway, so I'm enjoying it. So.
Yeah, I know. I've got them on my watch list, I think, on Disney Plus, but I haven't sat down and watched it. I think I've watched season 1 and 2 before.
It's very
a
time-consuming task.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes an episode, give or take.
Yeah.
So they are pretty quick.
They're like bite-sized, which is quite nice.
Yeah, just a lot of them.
So then you end up watching like 3 or 4 at a time. And you're like, okay, now it's a feature-length film.
Yeah, it's like it stopped being fun.
But yeah, it's good stuff. It is good.
Ah, fair dues.
Yeah. Is there anything you've been watching good to?
I've got a few things. I also went to Freaky. Freaky in the cinema. This was a while ago.
Yeah. I still want to see it.
Just after I think we did our last podcast, which was what, three and a half weeks ago. Quite a while. But yeah, we did. We went and saw that. It was really good. Vince Vaughn was very funny in it. It's surprisingly good actually. I know it's very much that same aesthetic of Scream kind of thing, but mixed with Freaky Friday.
I want to watch it even more now.
It is very, very funny, and it's definitely a film worth watching. The acting in it is actually pretty good, considering that's a lot of new actresses and actors that haven't been in many things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good premise, lots of funny jokes and humour.
Yeah.
Surprised me, I'll say that.
It's like one of those ones where you're instantly hooked from the sound of it, the premise, and you think, can they really go wrong with this? Because it's quite an original idea, isn't it?
Yeah, and Vince Vaughn.
Apart from obviously ripping off, Freaky Friday.
But I think that it works. Do you know what? I'd find that film much better than Freaky Friday. Freaky was definitely much better. Yeah. Because just the idea of having a serial killer in a kid's body and the kid getting it, it's just really funny. Yeah. And there were quite a few moments in the cinema. I remember when we were all sitting there and we were watching it, and there was like moments. There was 2 moments where I properly burst out laughing, and everyone
that's always a good sign.
Everyone just looking behind, like, "What the fuck are you laughing at?" I was having a good time.
Yeah, well, that's all it's about. Can't remember the last time I belly laughed in a cinema though. Like, I'd love to. That's a sign of a good
one. It genuinely surprised me a lot. I also watched the new Resident Evil: Infinite Darkness. Managed to watch that. It's good. It's between, it kind of bases, I think, between Resident Evil 4 game and Resident Evil, I would say 6. It's like that.
So not the kind of newer style.
Yeah, it's sort of in that timeline. And the only reason I say that, when you watch it, there's like obvious stuff that they reference from Resident Evil 4. So I was like, oh, okay, it must be around that time then. Yeah. But it's interesting. It's not that long. I think each episode's about half an hour. It's 4 episodes. It's like a 2-hour film. half of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But yeah, it was good, surprisingly good. There were a few moments where it was kind of like, yeah, it's a bit odd. It didn't really land. Some of the voice acting work at times can be a bit off.
Yeah.
Most of it is really good though.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it especially if you like Resident Evil.
Yeah. It's one of those ones I'm trying to get into it a bit more, obviously, with the little Dead by Daylight update. I'm like, okay, give it more of a chance now.
Yeah.
I've played the more recent ones. The first couple, I think I played the first one a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do need to get into the kind of the nitty gritty of 2, 3, and 4 and onwards.
I would say start from 4.
Yeah.
Because 4 still they're remaking that soon apparently though as well. So you can go back.
Time to jump in then.
You could do 2 and 3 because they've been remade and they tend to go on sale fairly regularly now. A lot of people didn't like 3. 2 was alright. I remember playing through it. But yeah, no, I got a lot of good memories from 4 playing it when I was a kid with my mate.
That was the first co-op one, was it?
No, that was still single player.
Oh, was it?
Resident Evil 5 was first co-op when you were playing as Chris and Sheva.
Right.
Or Shiva. I'm not sure how you... I've been told it's Shiva and Sheva, and I'm like, well, I've always said Sheva. Shiva. But yeah, Sheva's the useless bitch that just uses all your ammo. Like, stop using my ammo. I need that. But yeah, I would say if now would be a great time. Better than ever as well with how they've taken the franchise as well, like Resident Evil 7, 8. I've still yet to play 8. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be good.
Yeah, it seems a lot more action oriented than 7.
I hope they don't go too actiony though. I want them to keep the horror of it because the horror is what makes it.
Yeah.
You know, even though you have weapons and stuff, it's still terrifying.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's something about 7 that's just like in the middle of playing through, and it's just like terrifying if you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, I can't remember anything from 7. I played through it a long time ago with an ex.
Yeah,
but it was very good. She was so talented at those games. Like I was like, how do you do it?
And remothered.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that game. I mean, I don't get angry like that at games anymore, but fuck that game. It was so broken.
I know, and I didn't really get any of the story. It was just some
Joe,
guy walking around with his ass cheeks out.
I couldn't. That was. I regret getting rid of that off of the channel. I really do. I can't remember. I think there was 2 reasons that I got rid of it, and neither of them were because whatever we were going through. I think it was more to do with the other person because I didn't think it was fair to keep them up.
Right.
Without her permission, kind of thing. So, but yeah, shame they're lost to time. But it was a very.
We've got it in our memory.
Yeah, that's best way on. Best memories. Yeah, sorry. I watched a film called Munich. Very different from what I normally watch. I actually have the blurb up of it here because I didn't want to mess it up. A terrorist organisation kills 11 Israel athletes at the 1972 Munich Olympics. However, a team of 5 men headed by Anvar Kaufman is assigned the task of killing the terrorists as revenge. It's actually based on a true story. It stars Daniel Craig and I can never remember his name, and I hate the fact that I can never remember his name. I'll have to have a look on here because I don't want to forget, but it is a fairly long film. It's about 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like 2 hours and 40 minutes. Eric Bana, yeah.
Okay.
Very good film.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, the history behind it as well. And it was a very... Because I've never really sat down to watch... It's very slow, methodical, but when it picks up, man, it picks up. And it's all based on what actually happened, and Daniel Craig's character is very amusing.
Yeah. I bet you wished you were watching the cinema.
Yeah, well, it came out in 2008. So I wouldn't have been old enough. Or would I? No, I wouldn't have. No, of course I wouldn't have. So I wouldn't have been old enough. I would have been 12. 12? Yeah, 12. So yeah, very good film. I do recommend it if you can find it anywhere.
Right.
It's quite a tricky one to find. I watched It's Complicated. It stars Alec Baldwin and Meryl Streep. Yeah, it's a comedy, and basically the premise is that they are divorced, but he is married to another woman, and they end up having an affair together.
Right.
It's a very good story. Like the beginning is a bit cringy, like the start of the film, but as it goes on, it's actually a very good film, and it's very heartwarming, and there is a sort of happy ending to it. But I don't want to spoil anything. But I would recommend it. It's
complicated.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
They're definitely complicated. But yeah,
it's complicated. Then it's complicated.
there's some good acting in it. A lot of it is very cheesy because it was from back in the day.
Yeah.
Another one that I watched on Netflix was Sophie, a Murder in West Cork.
Oh yeah.
Very, very good documentary.
I watched that one. Yeah.
It's very. I found it so. Because I didn't even know about this case.
Yeah. So she obviously bought that really remote house, and yeah, something happened. Wasn't she originally from France?
She was married
to a director.
And there was a lot of. They go over the history of that, but yeah, I think she came. Was she France or?
I think it was France.
France. Yeah, I do remember Paris coming up, so I'm just going to assume.
So she moved to Ireland.
Bear in mind, it's been a little while since I watched it, but assault my monitor. Yeah, it was very interesting. I don't like Ian Bailey. I'm just going to say it now.
Oh yeah.
And it was frustrating for poor Vic when we were watching it because a lot of my psychologist stuff was coming out when we were watching it. I was like, he's lying. There's so many moments where his story doesn't add up. His emotion in certain words doesn't add up. Yeah. Like he'll go from he'll be calm an entire sentence, but one word. There was one particular scene, and I can't remember it, when he's being interviewed, and he's talking about how the policeman, I think, was talking to him, and there's certain words he emphasizes, and you can tell his eyes do not match where his lips are. It's one thing if when you're talking to someone, or a little trick, if you're talking to someone, focus on their mouth gestures and their eyes. If their eyes follow their mouth, they're not telling the truth.
Right.
A lot of the time it's a distraction thing for their own self, so they can deal with the situation. But yeah, what did you kind of think of it?
I thought he was it's like he's such a charismatic character as well.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller.
Yeah,
I give him that.
I love the bit where he's just like, he's wearing his like super vintage clothes and he's painting in this street and he's just talking to everyone. But yeah, it's a bit. I don't know how his wife put up with it.
Yeah, especially considering some of the stuff that came out about him as well.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that he got like almost like it was a bit of a guilty until proven innocent kind of thing.
Yeah, this is another thing as well. When you watch documentaries, obviously take them with a grain of salt, because documentaries, even though they're meant to give you all the information, push an agenda, and you can tell they're pushing an agenda.
As someone who's made a documentary and learned about them, yes, there is no such thing as a truthful documentary, really. Yeah. Like,
But I did a little bit of research deeper into it as well. But it was definitely a fascinating watch.
Yeah.
And I hate to because trying not to stick to sort of, because they obviously push that agenda with Ian. There is just something about it that doesn't add up with him, and the woman retracting her statement. Yeah. Why? And he was known for threatening and pushing people away, and it had been going on. I don't know how many years at that point.
And then he confessed to someone or something.
Yeah, multiple times. And when he was asked about it, he said, "Well, yeah, that's just sarcastic humour."
It's called dark humour.
I don't think I've ever turned to someone and gone, "Yeah, I killed that woman."
Yeah, you heard about some of them on the news. Yeah, I killed her.
I've made that joke many times. Oh, do you remember the one down the woods? Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Hung them up and watched them lose the life out of their eyes. It was hilarious. That's not something you joke about.
Yeah, and he even said how he did it, and
yeah, he brought details. The fact that if you look at the timeline, apparently because he was a journalist, wasn't he? And it's the timeline of how he learnt information, and he knew that she was from Paris. He knew that she was French, but all he'd been told was that it was just a person that had been found. How did he know specific? And this is the thing that doesn't add up with his stories. And his story has changed numerous times.
So he already knew her before that incident, and he said, "Oh no, I've only seen her once. A friend pointed her out."
The biggest.
He was like, fixated on her then.
The biggest shame out of it all, though, was how the police handled it. And this is a common fucking occurrence in every case that I have seen, heard about, talked about, anything, because I'm fascinated by true crime, is the police fumbling evidence, fucking up the crime scene and allowing people just to walk through.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
Yeah, it's like a theme that a lot of these documentaries have, just like first of all, it focuses on the crimes, and then it unravels and you see the police kind of corruption and mishandling of things. And like you can kind of understand on one hand because they'll have never seen anything like this before. There's never been any crime in this like West Cork or whatever, apart from very petty stuff. Never a murder. A murder.
Yeah, it was the first murder in the town in what, nearly 100 years.
Oh yeah, and there's like all this random stuff about haunted things and like, her having visions before, which was another slant on it.
I completely fucking ignored that.
Yeah. They've got to kind of cover all grounds, haven't they? Like just to have a bit of screen time on it. But yeah, as far as who did it, I mean, who can say? I mean, he's still professing his innocence to this day, and
I think that's the biggest shame.
He is very sus.
Well, there's been two different rulings, isn't there, in France?
Oh yeah.
In France, he was deemed to have done it. Although this is my argument with this, and I've never seen this kind of thing, was clearly France had an agenda here.
Yeah.
Like maybe the evidence does point out that he's guilty, and to be honest, I would go as far as to say, there is enough evidence there probably to consider him the main suspect.
Yeah.
And maybe even charge him with having involvement, maybe not the actual murder itself, but involvement. But it feels like when they did the trial in France, it felt very biased.
How can you have a trial in France without him there, without any lawyer,
without the evidence?
Yeah, without any evidence,
and
just
no
the family.
Yeah, it's.
And then find him guilty, and then he got sent it in the post like, oh, you're guilty of this crime.
You need to be extradited, and then obviously Scotland said no.
Yeah.
They were no. Was it Scotland?
Not Ireland.
Ireland. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, Ireland went no. We're not extraditing him.
Yeah, which is
simple as he wasn't found guilty.
It's not
here,
a proper trial, so.
But I'll be honest. I do think that the Irish authority did. They failed it again. I say again. Obviously, I mean other police forces as well. They failed, but I can't understand how they failed this one because it seems so cut and dry. Yeah. He was spotted at the bridge, and the woman stuck by it for many years, months. I can't remember if it was years or months, but for a long time, and then suddenly retracted it. And I have a gut feeling Ian had a part to play in that.
Yeah.
Why she retracted it. Because she said herself, he's been threatening me, he's come round, and the police didn't investigate it.
What was the reason for her retracting it?
Well, she just said, I just made it up. But she had been claiming for months prior to that he had been threatening her and intimidating her for months to stop being a part of it and stop giving a statement. Imagine living with that for years. I think she said her exact reasons were, I've done this for years, I can't be bothered anymore. I'm done. I just want it gone. And that to me just screams that he clearly had something on her.
Or she's just like demented in some way.
Or maybe she has had. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was the fact that she just had enough. Yeah. But in that case, that's an even bigger failure on the authorities' part. How I cannot. There was so much evidence of that scene apparently as well, and Ian himself went there. Yeah. But as a reporter, didn't ask any questions. Didn't ask. It just turned up and left. But then that screams again. It's a murders thing. They want the notoriety without being caught. They want to see how far you can push that line before getting caught. It is a common occurrence in criminal psychology.
Yeah.
And for him to turn up at the scene as a reporter and not do any reporter work, and just leave, screams that there is more to it.
Yeah.
And look at his history of violence towards women and his attitude towards his ex-wife.
But it's a shame because it's such a dreary, small town that it's just not. There's nothing ever going to be. The case is probably closed by now.
Oh, it is. I think it has been closed and moved off. And I find the detective as well, when they interviewed him, from what I'm remembering anyway, he seems so set on it being Ian as well. But here's my issue with that. He should be looking at the evidence, not just accusing someone because he doesn't like him. That's where I feel like that bias has happened. And obviously Ian says that when he went there and talked to him, he accused him of it, whereas the detective's like, well, no, I just sat down and had a coffee and asked and said that I think he knows something. But Ian's such a good storyteller. He knows how to... Yeah. You can watch him as he's talking about all this stuff. He's the centre and everyone's evil. He's the good guy being blamed for it. And it's such a... As you say, he's very charismatic.
Yeah, he's very compelling as a character. And you're just you want to hear more from him, but it's also a creepy side.
My personal thing is that I think he did it. Right. Personally, I do. I'm not, but then that's going off a bit of kind of his personality. It's not just the evidence, just the feeling I get from him, and that obviously is not enough
It's
to
like
convict someone.
someone can be this, and this, but does it make them a murderer?
Yeah, exactly. As a lot of the people said in that, they were like, I don't like him, but it doesn't necessarily make him a murderer. And I think that's, again, it falls on the authority.
Yeah.
They fucked that royally. And I think it's sad for the family as well, because I think, okay, they've got closure in France, in the sense of
but
he was convicted.
Fake closure.
But is it really an answer? No, because it wasn't done properly.
Yeah. He's still walking around living his life.
Yeah, and there's no real justice there. Oh, well, we've got our... Like, the son is what I get upset about, the son of her, because... And her family, you can clearly see how much it's hurt them. And getting that answer in court has done fuck all to ease that, because it's not an answer.
Yeah.
All right, he's been found guilty in their court's eyes.
It's just a performance, isn't it?
But he's not guilty in Ireland's eyes. He's not guilty clearly in himself, because he's still walking around.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot. I feel like there's clearly still some evidence that could have been... Because what was it? They had the fence taken away because I had blood in it.
And they lost it.
He had scratches on his hands. The composite sketch of the scratch on the hand was awful. It's like that. You can't use that.
No.
But yeah, what was his thing for it was, oh, well, I was dealing with a turkey and it attacked my hand or something. It's like, oh, fuck off.
I got chicken shit on my hands.
Yeah, I put chicken shit on my hands. Yeah, no, it's too many things that add up and put him at the scene.
Yeah.
But just the police failing to capitalise on that, and like, one thing I don't get: why didn't they photograph his hands?
Yeah, and his wife, I think, gave an alibi or something, and then he was in the he said he was in the shed working on something, but
she was in bed, and then she
came back dirty or something.
Well, she broke at one point. She said no, he was in bed with me, and then she admitted that he was gone then, part for the night.
Yeah.
From early in the morning to when he got back.
And there was a burn pit in his garden.
Yeah, and with clothes that had been burned. It's like there's so much evidence that adds up to him doing it, but yet the police were like, "Oh no, fam."
But he's clearly kind of narcissistic enough to just kind of feel like he can get away with it. And
But you know what? I can't blame him for feeling that way because he has.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, the crying shame of it is there was so much evidence pointing to him, and it's just I hate seeing. I love true crime stuff, but I hate seeing this stuff of like the police just not doing their job. And I get it. They'd never dealt with a murder before. It'd been over 100 years since there'd been a murder there. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have the technology to fingerprint and things like that at the time. But that's why you keep evidence for a set time. So when the technology comes along, you can use it. But they didn't. They got rid of it all.
Yeah. And the area was so remote. It took them like 10 hours to get there or something. The Christmas traffic is
such a failing. I don't know. It's such a sad
lesson for the future. Doesn't it?
Definitely, absolutely. But yeah, I highly recommend that documentary to anyone that's interested in true crime. I mean, Netflix are doing fantastic.
Oh yeah.
They have so many good documentaries. I still would advise going in with them, so knowing there's a bias, but look for other stuff if you're fascinated.
They do
by
tend to cover all bases, but there's always some kind of bias from the people who make it.
There is another documentary on YouTube that I watched of it as well. I'll see if I can find a link and put it in the description.
It'd be interesting to like watch.
It's another take on it. It's like more from his side.
Yeah.
And
so he's obviously make a bit of a book or two out of this.
Yeah. Well, I think he just likes notoriety, doesn't he? It was an older one as well from back in the day. Like lots of reports and interviews of him, and you can tell there's something sketchy about him. And there's actually two interviews in particular where he tells completely opposite stories, just in broad daylight, and no one picked him up on it. And it's like, if you can get away with that, you can get away with murder. So
murder. Just go to West Cork.
Yeah. It's such a shame, but hopefully something will be done about it.
Yeah.
And the last thing I've got is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh,
ironically, I did actually watch it long, but I think it's a crying shame that he will never come back to the DC universe. I think it's a cry. That film, although very long, was a masterpiece in filmmaking. Absolutely. Much better. I've watched both.
Was there a lot of slow-mo shots?
Nope. There obviously with the Flash you have a lot of stuff, but the storytelling, the way he tells the story in Justice League, light years better than anything Whedon did. He fucked that film completely.
Do all the characters get like a fair?
Oh,
So much better.
Yeah.
Like you'd think, like nearly a 4-hour film would take forever. I didn't stop. I think I had one break at the 2-hour 10 mark, so I had to switch discs, just 2 discs, and I got myself another kappa and just I had to watch more. And the ending, fam, the ending.
Oh.
It's a fucking crying shame. It's
I may have had that spoiled.
I have never had not even Marvel have stuck to the comics this well. Zack Snyder literally created the DC multiverse. He set up the premise for it.
Yeah.
And Warner Bros went, nah. Fuck off, Warner Bros. You don't know how to make a good film. How many times have you fucked up DC? You've rebooted Batman so many times. This was so good. I was crying. I was like, oh, come on. And fucking, have you had it spoiled or?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a shame, man. I knew what was in the ending, but I won't spoil anything that's said.
Yeah.
I would still, even though nothing's ever going to come of it, I would highly recommend going and watching it.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out.
And watch it in the 4:3 ratio that he has put it on, because it's a masterwork. I mean, the actual bad guy in it, I can't remember his name, Steppenwolf. His outfit is so much better. Darkseid, Lex Luthor, Deadshot, all of them are gone. And I'll be honest, not a lot of people like Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I think his appearance is a bit odd, but I think he did a pretty good job. He was a bit manic, maybe he could have toned down the manicness, but he did in this. Yeah. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, he's so much calmer. He's more like Lex Luthor. Yeah. And then obviously the ending, we all know who is in there. We all know who Batman finally got to meet. And it is a crying shame there won't be a film of that. Yeah, because I know the story he was setting up for that as well, the comic that he was setting up for. And, oh my god. Oh, it would have been so good. Yeah. And it's like, I regret watching it now because I know he's not coming back. I'm so upset. But yeah, crying shame, man. It's such a waste of potential, and it's a shame that Whedon fucked it up so badly. Yeah. Why didn't you just keep the shit he had done, Whedon? Huh? Because Warner Bros. Said they wanted a different outlook. They wanted to appeal to children. DC is not for children. It's dark for a reason. There's so many memorable scenes in it. So many moments.
Yeah, it's just like much better than the original.
Oh, and it's as well the color grading suits it so much more. Obviously, it's no surprise that Zack Snyder's vision is darker. Yeah, there's more like the color's not, but it's still bright and vibrant. The CGI. They're still vibrant enough, and the CGI is flawless. By the way, it's so much better than Whedon's. So much better, and there was more in it. Yeah. This is what I don't understand. They threw 70 million at Zack Snyder's one so it could come out, and yet they're not willing to continue with it, even though it was favoured more. Yeah. I can't. Warner Bros. Just that salty? They're like, no, we were right.
Deal with like a streaming service or something.
I can't remember. Yeah, HBO Max.
So maybe
the HBO Max probably assisted, but I think it's such a waste.
Yeah, because I think they probably needed something to kind of.
There was only one person in that film that I got very upset seeing, Amber Heard.
Oh, right.
She needs to be sacked from Aquaman. Seriously, and I mean this in all like if you if you fucking still think that she is not guilty, fuck you. Well. It's enough evidence to prove she's been proven in a court of law to have lied. Yeah. But that's not talked about because she's a woman.
She wasn't the one on the stand.
But yeah, it's a crying shame. But I would say to anyone, even if you, the film's done in parts as well. There's 6 parts, so it's like part 1, part 2. Yeah. So you can just watch it in parts if you want.
Like a series.
Yeah, and but I would absolutely say, watch it. Even though nothing's going to come of it, it is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I remember being disappointed by the Whedon one.
I remember watching it, regretting it because I was
thinking there's some cool scenes, but like it's just
they're so much better. That you should see there's so many in the fight scenes as well. They're done so quickly in Whedon's version, so there's no real kind of weight or nervousness to it.
the most common scene, the only scene I'll talk about is when Superman obviously comes back. That's no surprise. I think everyone knows that. The two scenes, the same scene in both films, the color grading, the length, the shots, everything about it is better in Zack Snyder's. Whedon doesn't know how to make a good DC film. He doesn't. He makes it too Marvel-y. It's a Marvel film in DC clothing. That's how it works. And it just doesn't work. That's the point. You can't make DC Marvel. It's not.
No.
And this is what Warner Bros. Needs to understand, is that you're not working with Marvel. And Marvel are now going down the path of making the mistake of, well, we'll just stay the same, we won't evolve.
And because at the point when the Whedon one came out, we hadn't even heard really or seen much of Aquaman or Cyborg or Flash.
Nope.
Like,
You knew
we
fuck
haven't
all
seen
about
anything
Cyborg.
about them, so like, what's the...
Cyborg and Flash are criminally... The amount of stuff that is put in Zack Snyder's version, it makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Stuff adds up more, it's more logical, there's more weight. Cyborg especially. Like, you know fuck all about him in Whedon's version. He's just
a B character, isn't he?
I'm here, I'm part of the Justice League,
Yeah.
so... But, yeah.
It's part of my contract, you know.
There's so much more on him in... It's just better in every avenue. Longer, admittedly, and I still think there could have been bits that were taken out, but I'm just pissed off and upset about that ending.
Yeah.
The idea of having... Like, because that would have worked so well. There were so many opportunities. The fucking... Like, Birds of Prey, for instance, that's right. Birds of Prey, it would have been so much better if they'd done Zack Snyder's version. It would have made more sense for a start.
Yeah.
And they would have been versing Joker. Who wouldn't have wanted that? And again, though, I don't like... Admittedly, again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but obviously Joker is still Joker. It's still Leto's Joker, so the laugh's shit. But everything else about that moment, it has so much more impact and weight. And Jared Leto worked so well with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
But you can tell Affleck wasn't in shape when they filmed that. No offense to Affleck, I'm sure he worked very hard. But the man is not in shape. He was fatlick at that point. I love the man to pieces. I think he's an incredible athlete, and he worked really hard to get into shape for Batman. But when he came back to do that reshoot, you can tell he hadn't kept the momentum of it up.
I suppose they'll have been years apart when
Well,
shooting
it's
them.
just what actors do. They take testosterone, they take PEDs, and that's how they get in these fucking ridiculous things. Look at Najim. What's his name? Majin Nanjiani. Oh, I can't remember his name. I feel really bad. You know who I'm talking about, though. The guy that got swolled for the Immortals from Marvel. The comedian that went from man tits to Arnold's fucking biceps.
Yeah.
He's huge now, but clearly he took PEDs. Clearly.
Yeah.
And no one fucking talks about it.
No.
So, it's not realistic. You are not going to get that size without some form of... Dak Shepard is the only person I've seen talk about that recently. Because I'll put a picture up on screen for everyone. But he admitted recently, he was like, yeah, I've taken testosterone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in the shape I'm in if I didn't take testosterone. And he went, it's made my mental health better. I'm more full of energy. Because I think he's in his 40s now. And he was like, yeah, you're not going to... These Marvel people need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so unrealistic. He said, the reason I did it is because I was curious and I wanted to explore that area. And I've got the money to, so fuck it. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm happier with it, but it's expensive. So, but it's nuts. But no one talks about it.
No. It's like the hidden world of Hollywood.
I'll keep that for later, though. That'll be more in our interesting things.
Yeah.
But, to stay on topipic, go and watch it.
Yeah.
Go, if
Highly
you can find a
recommended.
way. Yeah, if you
From
can
you.
find a way to watch it, watch it.
Okay.
But, going off on a lot of tangents.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's
This is fine.
It's fine. More talking.
More talking.
But shall we move on to gaming then?
Yes. Let's do that.
Right, what have you got, my good sir?
The PlayStation website has leaked. You know what is leaking these days? But the PlayStation Plus games for next month, which are Plants vs Zombies: Battle for Neighborhood.
Ooh, I'm excited for that one
Yeah,
because
it's
I
one I've been
love the games.
tempted to get like over the years, and
Yeah.
then I'm just like, oh well, you know, am I gonna play it? It's multiplayer. You know.
I love the other games, the other PvZ games I have, and they're fantastic. They're like an interesting
very wacky
take.
and zany and
Yeah, I regret not playing them all. I might go back and play the second one before that comes out then.
yeah. We're also getting Tennis World Tour 2.
Yeah. No
Hunters Arena Legends. Now, This one, as far as I can remember, we had a beta not long ago, which I did sign up for. I don't know if I actually.
I recognise the name.
Yeah, you probably recognise the name because it's the most generic name you can ever get for a video game.
Is it like a
Hunters
big
Arena,
mech on the front or something?
Legends.
Is there a big mech on the front or something?
I don't know. I think it's like a free to play. Well, it obviously is. I don't know if it was free to play, but it is now.
Yeah, that's most things.
Some kind of MMO style thing.
Alright.
Like or either a battle arena kind of thing, like maybe like Overwatch or something. I can't remember. But yeah, it's not going to pay much heed to that one.
Yeah, be interesting then.
We also got a few PS5 upgrades this last week, which I only learned about. Well, when I say PS5 upgrades, I mean like backwards compatibility plus ones.
Yeah.
I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider got one for like.
That's not shocking.
Because I think Square Enix are quite good at releasing stuff like this. So
yeah.
They've done it for Avengers, obviously, and Final Fantasy. So they released one so it can support better, higher resolutions at higher frame rates. And I think we got Sniper Elite 4 upgrade as well, which is not surprising because they did Zombie Army.
Oh, I love it.
And if they can go ahead and just do the rest of them, that'd be good as well.
Yeah.
But it's still good. We're still getting to this stage, 8 months, 9 months after the PS5 releases, where we're still getting like these upgrades and they're understanding it more. And
I think that's a good thing, though. It's a good little practice for them, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
I think obviously companies have. There's a lot of games in development that obviously are, designed for both. I think that's going to be a very common occurrence.
Yeah.
But clearly they are testing the waters, so to speak.
Yeah. I managed to play through the Plague Tale Innocence. Well, I'm halfway through it.
I can't wait to play that game.
It is really good. Like just the unique setting and the relationship between Amicia and the boy. And just the whole rats aspect is so unique. It reminds me of the hordes in Days Gone, the rats, because there's so many of them, and it does feel. And the dual sense haptic feedback is really good because it literally feels like the rats are running it through the controller. You're like, oh my god, like the pitter patter,
Oh, that's cool.
And you've got to be creative with the way you kind of sneak around places and extinguish the flames to summon the rats, and they can help you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
But yeah, and it's beautiful as well. I think I played the trial on the PS4 and it was like really I enjoyed it then, but now it's just 60 frames and it's very very smooth and
Nice buttery.
yes, and haptic feedback is one of the better ones we've had so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that have haptic feedback, but I don't feel like they've utilised it in the best way.
Yeah.
Specifically, COD.
Well, they say we got unique haptic feedback with every single gun.
It's not. That's a lie. I know.
Yeah,
Tested.
they probably just changed the dial.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to playing Plague Tale Innocence.
Yeah.
That's been on my eye since it came out. But
yeah, I remember messaging you years ago saying,
yeah.
"Wow, this game looks cool. We have to get it."
Yeah.
And then all these years later, we got it.
And we got the PS5 version.
Yeah.
See, patience works. Just don't give them money.
Yeah. It pays off not to play games straight away.
Literally. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've got so many fun games I love playing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm not buying games anymore because I'm actually
Yeah.
getting through them slowly.
Yeah.
But,
Backlogs become an issue after a while.
Yeah, it does. It becomes a serious
The
problem.
gamer life.
Yeah. Anything else that you've been playing good to?
I was going to mention the new free-to-play Tom Clancy thing, but I think
well, I mean,
you might know more about it than I do.
Well, I don't know a lot. I watched the reveal. It's definitely a COD lookalike. There's two factions from Division 2 in there: the Cleaners and the Outcasts, I believe. Were they Outcasts?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the enemies from Ghost Recon Wildlands, or it might be Breakpoint. I'm not sure.
Sicario.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. They're in there.
The Wolves.
Yeah, they're definitely in there. And the other faction was from.
Splinter Cell, was it?
Might have been, yeah.
Or Siege.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel. I mean, the fact that it's free to play, I'm definitely going to play it.
Yeah.
It's free to play, so why not? I'll give it a go.
It does feel like they've just gone. We can't really think of any more
One
ideas.
thing as well, if you look at the reveal trailer, they've just taken maps from the other games. There's you know the space museum mission in Div 2.
Yeah.
They've got that little middle part
Yeah.
with this telescope.
Fair
It's
play.
you see it in there. So this game is just a mishmash of stuff
I
they're
know.
taking from other games. So free to play, okay. I don't know.
It's like a Smash Bros. Of, you know, just every Ubisoft title, and they just want to mash
very
it together.
dubious because you can clearly see they're gonna monetize the fuck out of this game. It's a COD lookalike as well. So I don't know. They've never done a Call of Duty thing. They've always been third person or very stealth based or Wildlands, very open world third person. They've never done Call of Duty first person.
Yeah,
So-
Far Cry, I suppose, would be the closest to
But
that.
none of the Far Cry teams have worked on it, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think it's a team. It's the previous team that worked on Div 2. Part of them have gone over there.
Okay.
I think a part of the Wildlands team is there as well, obviously. I'm not sure. I think there's another team that's worked on it as well. I don't think it's the Splinter
Yeah.
Cell team though. But yeah, I'm excited because it's an exciting prospect. I mean, if they get this right, I know it's Ubisoft, right, and I'm very aware they're not known for being good at their practices, but I think there's nothing wrong to have a bit of optimism about it. It's something different. It's free to play.
It's not surprising, really.
I'm not gonna pay any money into it because it's free to play.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have some egregious microtransactions, season pass, fucking everything they can get.
Yeah, they want to add loads of fan favorite things because
Yeah.
people are loyal to these franchises and they
Yeah.
like them. And
Like Division 2, I love, even though the
Yeah.
game is awful. I fucking love that game. I wouldn't have pumped the hours I've pumped into it otherwise.
yeah, and like it's just like they're capitalizing on in every single Ubisoft game. There's always references to the other ones, or there's missions. I know in Wildlands, I think from Wildlands they started incorporating all of them. You had like Rainbow Six operators coming in helping you. You had you know, Sam Fisher coming in helping you, and Breakpoint.
Terminator.
They're just like kind
That was
of.
actually one of the best things about it.
Yeah, we need to play Breakpoint again because
Yeah, I need to be done with
upgrade.
it.
But yeah, so it isn't actually surprising that they've done this. To be honest. Like, it was a surprise to hear that they've announced a new game, a free-to-play game, which isn't Division Heartlands, which I thought it would be.
It's funny. It came out very quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's why it's full of assets.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff. I think that's that thing that laziness when it comes to game making is never a good thing. And I know that might sound a bit ungrateful, but ooh, you're elite. No, but if you rush a game out, it never works. Never works. Never has a game. Marvel Avengers, fucking prime example. They rushed it out. It was broken. There was nothing in it. I love that game. I enjoy that game, but I cannot bring myself to play it anymore because it is just crap. There was nothing to do.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on anyone that plays it. Fucking more power to you.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it, that's great. But not for me.
Let's hope the Wakanda expansion adds a
Yes, I'm looking
bit
forward
more.
to that.
The
But-
story, you know, can't complain about. So they added in
yeah,
another
absolutely.
like 10-hour campaign or something
Yeah.
apparently, but you know, 10 hours should be generous.
Yeah, it's the end of the year, right?
Yeah,
It's coming out. Winter.
yeah, next few couple of
Oh,
months.
well, winter, so it might be beginning of next year. But yeah, no, with X Defiant, I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic, and I'm sure myself and Sean will absolutely tell you
Yeah.
what we think.
Brutally
of the
honest reviews.
game. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever work with a company, even if that's not an option. But still, yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll change if we do.
Nah. Unless you like my brutal honesty, you work with Sean. Sean's nicer.
I'll give you a good review.
Yeah, but Sean's nicer. I'm not. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I would say
I'll take the sponsorship.
slightly optimistic. I would say, hopefully optimistic.
Oh well, yeah, it's best to be optimistic, and
I think it's free as well, so can't
you
grumble.
can't lose anything if you
Can't
try
grumble,
it.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I will say a game that I played. They're very similar. I swear that I've already talked about 911 Operator. I'm fairly positive I talked about
I
that
think
last
so.
time.
Yeah.
So I played This Is the Police. I'm playing through that currently. It's very similar, but it's just police. And it's really good story to it. It's been out for a long time, but really good story to it. But you kind of manage police and detectives, and they have to get called out on calls. And if they succeed, they get experience. If they fail, they lose experience.
Yeah.
It's an interesting game.
Yeah.
Fun little time waster, I think.
because it's I don't think it's a very long game either. But
Yeah.
yeah. Any other games that you've got or games that you're looking forward to? I know a lot got announced recently. There was E3 and Ubisoft.
Yeah, we focused.
EA did their thing recently.
Yeah, there's like more stuff been released about Battlefield.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Battlefield Portal. I know I saw it just before we started.
Yeah, I
We'll
don't
have
know what
to
they're
talk
trying to
about
do
that
that.
next time.
Yeah, we'll do a bit more research and actually talk about that one.
There might be one next week as well. We might do a podcast, an earlier podcast, because a bit of a gap. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm not going to rush into it or push us. But one thing I do know, which I can bring up, is Dead Space is the game getting remade.
All right.
I mean,
Will
I'm
it, be,
excited.
will it be on PlayStation?
Probably not.
I didn't want to
I
play
actually
those.
don't know. Maybe it will be. I imagine so. I can't imagine them not putting it on PlayStation. That would be a waste of potential. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I love the Dead Space games. Even the third one, although I will admit the third one was garbage compared to the first one, and definitely the second one was definitely not as good as the first. But very good horror games. I loved them. A lot of action, interesting enemies. I even enjoyed the animated films, even though they were crap. But I'm dubious about this because EA remaking a game.
Yeah.
Something tells me there's a little more incentive in there for them to try and milk as much as possible.
So they've obviously done Mass Effect.
Yeah, which I haven't played I haven't even looked at it, to be honest.
Yeah,
anymore.
legendary super duper.
From what I've heard, it's still just as buggy and doesn't look as great, which is a bit disappointing. But
What else have they remade?
everything.
Star Wars Battlefronts. No,
Yeah.
but obviously they didn't make the originals, did they?
I mean, I don't know. I'm very these days. I tend to be, maybe it's a thing with me, but I'm very dubious about like remakes or like redos, like they redo them up and stuff and re-release it. I don't know, especially after. I'm trying to think of what the last like sort of one that I was disappointed by. I mean, Resi 3 was not that great when they remade that. But I don't know. I guess optimistic. We'll see. Hopefully they don't. It's EA. They're going to throw as much microtransactions as they can.
Probably, yeah.
Unfortunately. Battlefront 2, that's the one I was thinking of when they first released it.
Yeah.
Now it's not so bad, even though it's been abandoned.
It's been abandoned, but just as it was getting, to its peak.
Which is upsetting.
Crying shame.
Yes.
And now that I'm watching Clone Wars, I'm thinking, he'd be good in that. He'd be good in that. I'd love to play him as that in that.
I mean,
I can understand why people were, wanting
I
more.
know Ubisoft are doing a Star Wars thing now, aren't they? That was brought out a while ago.
Yeah.
The Avatar and Star Wars. So, or was it? No, Bethesda. Was it Bethesda? Or... No, Ubisoft are doing the game for Star Wars. Bethesda are doing Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
That's
and
what I
then
was
it's going to be Jedi Fallen Order 2 probably.
Yeah.
For
I
EA.
imagine so.
But that's one EA game that you can get behind.
Yeah, the only one. I've still not played all of that, but I've played enough to be like, yeah, no, this is excellent.
I think it's really good.
Even
And
though it's
that's had a
Souls-like.
PS5 upgrade now as well.
Yeah, and even though it's a Souls-like.
Yeah, I said, oh well, if I can manage to complete it, and it Souls like.
But why has Bloodborne not been given a fucking PS5
I know.
upgrade? Why?
I actually tried to play that again the other night, but yeah,
I love that game.
stuck.
So yeah, I'm trying to. I'm
I'm
going to
stuck.
grind up a little bit more, and then maybe we'll get through it.
Yeah, I need
Together.
to ring my bell and get you to help me.
When Bezos' rocket. I need your help. Yeah. Other than that, I've only got Fortnite down because I've just been playing a lot of that,
Yeah,
or trying to.
me too. I think I'm like Battle Pass levels 78 or something now.
I think I've got the first 3 done.
Oh yeah,
That's it. I'm nowhere near that level. I think I'm like 28.
looking forward to getting Superman though.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be good. I need to play more of it though, because I need to get that past them.
I know. You just gotta wait for like the weekly challenges and the daily ones as well, and that'll
Yeah.
give you a good boost.
Yeah. But aye.
It's just a background one that you can play while between other games.
True.
Uh,
Yeah. I have got 2 anime things to quickly throw out there. I
Please.
got Hellsing. Watched the original Hellsing. Went back and watched that. Very good. Still not as good as Ultimate, in my opinion, but still good. So Hellsing Ultimate is basically the same series, but with more added on and more done with it and better visuals and stuff.
Yeah.
Hellsing, the original, is still good, but definitely didn't hit the big. And a film called Weathering with You. Highly recommend this anime film. It's basically infinitely rains in Tokyo,
and there's basically Sunshine Girls. It's a very emotional, it's very sad at points, but it's really good. Really good animated film. I would highly recommend people go and check that out, because it's an emotional tale of the hearts.
We love a good feels.
I do love a feel-good story. I cry a lot of them, but they are very good. And it's a very, very good animated film. That's it. That's all over the animes. So now we'll move on to our
Shivers.
final moment.
Final moment. The interesting team.
Interesting things. I'll be honest, we did say something earlier, and I can't remember.
It's the state of the dark side of Hollywood.
The Dark Side
Let's
of
talk
Hollywood.
about that.
Ooh. Okay.
So obviously, whatever
yeah,
goes
of
on
course.
behind the scenes with when it comes
Yeah.
to big studios and directors, and
There's a lot.
a lot of actors that will probably have a lot of horror stories about certain directors, and
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just look at the Me Too movement.
so
That's
which I probably would be fair to say is mostly around women, but I mean
Yeah.
obviously it might be there is men who are
absolutely.
going
Like,
through that and stuff
not
as well.
not ignoring either side, and
No.
not ignoring the fact that men are the predators in 99% of the situations.
No.
But yeah, no, Hollywood's a dark place, man, and I just wish actors would be more transparent. Like, I think this, I remember what I was going to talk about, which was like actors like Chris Hemsworth, Dwayne Johnson, John Cena now,
Yeah.
Vin Diesel, like all these different actors that
They're icons.
clearly are not natural.
yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
I mean,
They
even in the not even Scorpions King style, Dwayne Johnson,
I mean,
but
Chris Hemsworth, for instance, in the last Thor, obviously that they've made now, the fucking size on the man.
nah, nobody has a body like that.
It is his arms are literally the size of tree trunks. They're fucking enormous. I mean, granted, in that photo there's lighting, and it's clearly a staged photo for promotion, but he is enormous. And I just wish these actors wouldn't just be like, oh, well, eat healthy,
Yeah.
train well. Motherfucker, I've been doing that for years. Why don't I look
They're
like
probably
you?
like contracted not to say what they're actually doing.
Yeah, they're not allowed. There's definitely DNRs that are like, don't talk about your PED use. Why? That's just healthy. At least then people know what's realistic and what fucking isn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, just don't like it. It was like, well, like I talked about earlier, Camille Nanjiani. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's not natural. I don't care what anyone says. He's not.
Yeah.
Look at him. His abs are like bricks. That is not normal.
Yeah. It's like because these people are like icons to a lot of people. A lot of young
Yeah.
people will see them and think, oh well, I follow them on Instagram and so
Yeah.
see what they post. And who was it? That's Mark.
Oh.
Transformers.
Mark
Guy.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, fuck off. He's not natural.
He's like, oh yeah, oh I've got the list here. You get up at 4 a.m, you go for a jog, you eat your
That's fine.
fruit, and then you do this and you do that. Then I get 4 hours sleep, and then I look like me.
But I don't talk about my pills that I take or my
No.
arse that gets injected.
And he was like very vocal on what his daily routine is, and you can tell a
Yeah.
lot of people will be copying that.
Yeah, and then going, why don't I look like that?
Yeah, and why am I suffering because
Yeah.
of like this?
Part of it is genetics, right? I've been training since I was probably 15 actually, and part of it is genetics, right? Your
Yeah.
genes have a part to play in how you're going to look. Like, for instance, Mark Wahlberg is not that huge just because he takes stuff, right? His genetics
Yeah,
clearly
it's a
lend
mixture.
to building muscle. Dwayne Johnson, clearly his genetics built muscle. Look what when he first came into WWE, when it was WWF and Scorpion King. I reckon he was probably more natural back then.
Yeah.
And he clearly is a big guy. He can build a lot, but he's not cut. You cannot be nearly 250 pounds and that lean and that huge.
Yeah.
It is not realistic. I think Zac Efron did go on and talk about this actually when he had an interview about what it was like to cut down for Baywatch, and he said, I'd never do that again. He said,
Yeah, he looks
it's not fun.
really
He was
unnatural.
like 5% body fat.
So
He
why-
bulked to fuck and dropped his body to fight that. Do you know how healthy that is? The average person will have something like, I don't know, 20% maybe. Seriously?
50%.
No. You're nowhere near. You're probably like, I don't know, 18, 19%. You're not fat. You know? But everyone has a natural body fat. You have to.
It's perfectly healthy to have
To
that.
be that you do not look like that all the time. That is why the meme came out with Zac Efron having a dad bod. Because you actors don't keep it. They just don't. You know,
It's a very temporary state, isn't it?
yeah, it's look at fucking Christian Bale if you want to see anyone that has drastic transformations. Fucking man went from the Machinist to Batman in 7 months. Motherfucker took something.
I know.
Also, don't just label it as steroids. That's not how it works. Steroids are a medical use thing as well for people with asthma and you know, eczema. It's PEDs, testosterone, things like that. You know, it's like educating people.
Yeah.
If you're not educated on it, you're not gonna learn anything. And
But it's. Sorry, go.
no, I was just gonna say I wish they'd talk about it more frequently.
Yeah, that's
Be
what I was-
honest about it, you know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would do more positive than it would negative. I think people would, because as you said earlier, people look up to these people. You
Yeah.
know, they look at them and go, oh, I want to look like that one day, and they start lifting weights early. That's fucking hell. I looked up to when I was young. It was like Vin Diesel and Dwayne the Rock Johnson and fucking Jason Statham. He's juicing. I don't care what anyone says. He is natural. He's very athletic, but he is built with muscle. He's barely any body fat and just muscle. Like that's not. It's not normal.
Yeah.
You know, you can do it, but it takes years. And the best time to lift weights is your mid-20s, because that's when you have most testosterone, between 25 and 30.
Yeah.
Your body is flooded with it, and then after that,
I'm running
it
out
goes
of
down.
time.
That's when it goes down, and naturally your body goes down because that's just what happens. Part of
Yeah.
nature. You I talked about earlier, Dak Shepard. He's the only person in that celebrity world that came out and was like, yeah, I use testosterone. I'm 48. I'm not gonna fucking build myself like this from natural. You have to. You absolutely have to. And it's because your muscle doesn't repair quickly enough, or it's not gonna build enough. Also, eat.
Yeah, and they need to talk about it because aspiring actors, you know, they think the only way they can actually get into these big budget ones is to like unhealthily diet and exercise.
No, eat. I hear this so many times. Anyone that I talk to is like, "Oh, I eat so little? That's why you're not getting bit." Eat.
Yeah.
You have to fucking stuff food down your face. Eat 6,000 calories a day and lift weights every day and see what happens. You'd think, oh, I'll get fat. No, your arms will look like tree trunks.
Yeah.
Granted, not ripped. They're gonna have body fat. That's just take some fucking PEDs if you don't take PEDs. Not without a doctor anyway. If you're interested in doing that, go talk to a doctor. A doctor can guide you and tell you and be like, well, this is a healthy amount. Don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's why they don't like talking about it. It's like people will go off and do it on their own. That's stupid. These guys have medical professionals clearly look after them every day, check their vitals, check their levels, make sure they're not overdoing it, you know, so they still look natural.
Yeah. Supplementing them with the right vitamins that they may be deficient.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at what any of these actors eat. They eat a lot, but the reason they don't have body fat is because what PEDs, what testosterone does, is it burns body fat but keeps muscle. Naturally, your body breaks muscle before it breaks fat, more often than not.
And it's the
why
types of foods, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to lose body fat because of that. And people think, oh, well, I have to have 100 grams of protein a day if I want to look like this. No, that's too much protein. It'll just turn to fat. You have to work out what works for you and your levels and stuff.
Yeah.
I think for me, I can get away with eating probably quite a little amount of protein because I'm for whatever reason, I have genetics. I build quickly, but I also get fat quickly.
Yeah.
As you have probably seen over the years of knowing me, I fucking up and down constantly. I can't keep one, but I wish they'd talk about it more because I think it would help a lot of people's self-esteem as well. Like, and not to shit on women. I'm sure women have this supermodels and self-esteem in that area as well. But for men, I can only speak from my experience as a man. It's fucking degrading. Like you go out and like if you ever go out on nights out and stuff, and you know, you see like girls walking around or something like that, or you're with like a group of friends and you're like the odd one out or something, and you don't feel like you look good enough. It's like a constant thing on men's minds. I don't give a fuck anymore, but I remember feeling that way, and it's fucking horrible.
Yeah. When you're surrounded by the mask of people not being honest about things.
Yeah.
Then you start to think that you're the problem and that something's wrong with you if you're not
blending in that way.
Yeah,
But
it's I don't know. It's
then there's social media, which is
oh Christ.
so
Don't
yeah,
get me
that,
started
well,
on
yeah,
social
we've done
media.
that, but that doesn't help. It all root of all evil and all that.
Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, I know. It's frustrating because obviously we want these actors to look a certain way. Of course we do.
Yeah,
It's part of the
you want to
entertainment.
watch a hero on the screen.
Yeah, I want to watch a man crush a man's head between his bicep. Of course, that's entertaining.
Eddie Hall.
Oh, I love that man.
Yeah.
So cool. But I mean, if you want somewhat realistic builds, look at any strongman. They are not cut. They have a massive belly
Yeah.
because they eat a lot.
And yeah, they kind of just eat what they want, really.
Mass will move mass. That is how it
Yeah.
works. Dwayne Johnson might look. Well, I mean, he's never looked more cut in his life, and he's nearing his 50s. Like, the man looks ridiculous for Black Adam. He's huge, and he's cut, and he looks incredible. I'm not shitting on that. It still takes work to get to it. But for someone to go, he's natural, like fuck, you're delusional. Look at him in the first Fast and Furious movie he appeared in, Fast 5. His arm is, it's ridiculous. His arm is literally the size of Vin Diesel's thigh. The man is ungodly. And it's, I don't know. I could rant about it all day. I won't, because that would be very boring.
But yeah, the point is, honesty, full disclosure,
Just
think of the young aspiring people who are looking at you as idols, and
exactly, and that's why I'm Dark Shepherd has a podcast and he talked about it with Mila Kunis on it. I know she was on it. There was someone else as well, but I can't remember. But go and watch the podcast. He talks about it so openly, and he's the only person I've ever seen be like, yeah, it's not natural. I'm not natural. You still have to work for it.
Yeah.
But it comes a lot quicker. It comes a lot easier. Like, he could get 2 years worth of progress in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because that's all it takes with testosterone. So, just go and check it out. It's a good podcast. He's a good guy. I think he's a great actor personally myself, but
yeah,
I know he's not like big.
People will be put off by what he started in, but look at the person now.
Yeah, look, I'm just glad that someone has broken the mold, whether they're big or small. Someone has gone. No.
Yeah, they're not just talking about climate change or all those mamby-pamby things.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that it's mamby-pamby, but the safe things to talk about.
He's actually gone out of his way to be like, yes, I
supporting charities.
I think he put on 25 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, that might not sound like a lot. It's fucking loads.
Yeah.
That you'd have to train for a good few, I'd say, 3 or 4 years continuously while dieting to put that kind of muscle on. And he did it in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
That's why people take these shortcuts. That's why actors do it. Well, I'm going to do this role where I'm a fat bastard, but in 7 months I'm going to look like Batman. Like, that is not going to happen naturally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just understand that it's a very, I don't want to call it fake, but it is. It's a very fake reality that is created in Hollywood, and it's a dangerous reality as well. These have effects on your body.
Yeah.
So take that into consideration as well.
Yeah.
But
I think we forgot to mention the final. We lost against Italy, England.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, neither do I really. I just thought, it's quite a big event that we forgot.
Oh, but I will mention this: the racism that came from that. You assholes can get hit by a truck. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, fuck off.
Marcus Rashford, is it? He's getting the brunt of it.
Disgusting. Why? It's a fucking game. A bunch of men running after a ball. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not. It's football. It's life. No, you're a bellend. That's what you are.
And just you see the scenes on the streets of people being absolutely vandals.
Football. I get people going, football's not just a game. Yes, it is. Alright, get over your fucking self. But it's life. It makes me happy. Great. I'm glad it does. It's a fucking game.
Yeah.
Right, oh, but we could have won the World Cup. Fuck your cup. Right. What does that mean? You get to get drunk for the night. You're going to do that anyway.
If you're going to be like Howie Actually, you don't deserve to win it.
Yeah. If you're going to be a fucking hooligan, fuck off. That's something, quickly we'll talk about that then before we end it. The attitude towards sports and stuff now.
Yeah, it's almost like a different kind of politics.
It's a cult thing.
Yeah.
It's like cultish, isn't it? It's like, I know, and again, we're not blanket stating people.
No.
We're not saying
this
all
is a
football
minority
hooligans,
of.
football fans.
It's unfortunate minority normally has the loudest voices.
Yeah, and the media coverage, which they will always magnify it all up, won't they? But
I think it's just not needed, is it? It's like,
No.
What if you're that invested in it?
I mean, Marcus
Find another
Rashford,
hobby.
like, I believe he had a part in providing meals for kids during lockdowns and stuff.
So
And it's
much.
like they've done so much good work, and yet he, misses a penalty, and people, flip like that and just go instantly skin deep, like with insults or whatever.
And people are making monkey noises. How fucking old are you?
I know.
Like, that is disgusting. I just.
It's like a way of. It's like not a game to some people. It's like a way of life, isn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's like.
growing up, it was just like, the guys who I met, who are older, all they ever talked about was football, and it's like, I'm not really interested. So
It's my life.
who do you support? And then, like, my dad was supporting Blackpool, which is probably not, a great team, but I always used to say Blackpool because that's what my dad did, and they were like, oh yeah.
Well, I used to say Man United.
Yeah, because that's the
only
main
team I
one,
knew,
isn't it?
And I knew they were good.
Yeah.
But then people would quiz you on it and be like, oh, well, what's this player?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I don't care. It's why now when people go, oh, did you watch the game? No, I couldn't give less of a fuck if I
Yeah.
tried. And to be honest, do you know what? If it wasn't such a toxic fucking environment, maybe I would be more into it.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, I've tried watching them, but they're just not for me.
Football's fucking boring, man. Like, I don't know.
I've even been to Wembley and watched a match there, but no.
I've watched rugby. Rugby I could get into more than football.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously for you Americans it's soccer. Soccer.
Mm.
Fucking, it's football, but yeah, sure, you'll play rugby with your other game, but alright, whatever.
Sorry, Americans.
Sorry, James, fuck off.
Don't listen to him.
No, I mean, respective, I guess rugby is different to American football. But I like American football actually.
Yeah.
I find that more entertaining.
I'd rather watch that actually.
Yeah, I think football/soccer is it's just boring. It just is. And to be honest, rugby I don't even watch that much. It's just a bunch of, I wouldn't say juiced up men. I think more natural than not. But it's just a bunch of really muscly, sweaty men running after an egg. I think that's the best description I've ever heard of it. So, I mean, it's entertaining to watch. I guess it's very primal. It's very primitive. Like who's the strongest and who can beat the others. I guess maybe that's the way footballers supporters feel. But for footballer, bruises his leg, he's dying. So I mean,
it's a very kind of macho display.
Yeah. Every time I talk about football, I always think of Green Street, that old film with Elijah Wood and Charlie Hunnam and the hooligans. I'm like, that really didn't give it a good name. that.
And like English fans as well. It's like I saw like a thing on Facebook. It's like it's Italian fans are all like eating pizza, having parties in the street, very elegant, and then English fans, some guy with a flare stuck up his ass in the middle of a street. It's just like
this is how
they're
they
all like,
celebrate.
what? Oh god.
It's I don't know.
It's coming
It's
up.
so stupid. Yeah, the fucking it's coming up. Fuck off. Jesus Christ! You're not gonna bring the cup back home, are you? It'll get pissed. It'll go to someone else next year. Like I just don't get it. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
But I don't see the appeal. Again, maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe I'm just a wimp. I don't know. But I don't. I just, if it wasn't so fucking disrespectful, maybe then. But I don't. That's all we ever see. There is a lot more. I know there's like a brotherhood to it or something. Like oh, they all go down a pub together and it's very friendly and they're like a family. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't excuse your arseholes that are they're always arseholes in no matter what you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, why? Why do you need to be racist? You go on the pitch and fucking score against them then.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do their fucking job.
Yeah. There is no excuse for it. Isn't it?
I don't know.
No matter what it is, you don't have to stoop to that level.
Yeah. I mean, if you're that ignorant and that's something you do, you go on the fucking pitch and do it and see how easy it is. I think that's my argument to it. It's just if you're going to be like that, you go on the fucking pitch and have stuff shouted at you when you miss a goal. How much pressure, how much fucking anxiety they probably have on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, this is another problem. They don't talk about the mental health.
Yeah.
No one fucking does. I mean, it's getting better now, but
yeah, because of the nature of it, so macho that historically it's like not supposed to talk about that kind of thing, and if you do, then it might not advance your career so much.
Stupid. Very, very stupid.
But yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate, but that is life. That was good.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
My
Interesting.
brain has seeked its information out now.
Yeah. Now I just want to plan what takeaway we're gonna have, and I'll throw some money in that so we can have a takeaway and watch some Lost.
Yes, definitely.
But, yeah.
Make the most of the time we have together.
Yes. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was different, obviously. It was different.
Oh, there's a camera here.
Yeah. It was different. It's been very fun. I've really enjoyed doing this in person.
Yeah, me
Been
too.
Really
It's been
good.
Really good.
It's nice to obviously see you.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let us know.
It's a very special episode.
Yes, in person.
In-person episode.
So yeah, it's been fun. It's been really good. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity one day to do it more like this. But as of right now, the next one will obviously be back to normal.
Yeah.
Over Skype.
But we make the most of it.
Yeah, and it's always fun. It's always enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you very much to anyone who watched. It's always appreciated. And of course, we apologise if it was a little bit sort of all over the place and there was a few tangents. But I don't know. I feel like it worked.
No, that's how we do. That's how we roll. So
That's how we roll.
you know this by now.
That's how we roll. But yeah, it was good. So thank you very much for watching. Again, check out the other episodes that we've got as well. And yeah, thank you for your patience because this one was a little bit late, but I hope it was worth it.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.